Have you ever been watching a science fiction movie and wondered how many of those weird green guys are actually up there? I mean, the sheer variety of alien civilizations just in the human imagination is astonishing. Mushroom football hooligans with green skin and anger issues, walking carpets who only talk in weird growls, and any number of recolored or rubber four-headed humans, just to name a few. And let alone what might actually be out there. Astronomer Frank Drake had that same thought 60 years ago and developed the Drake equation. Unlike most famous astronomers, who are old dead white guys, he is an old living white guy. He was born in Chicago, Illinois, United States, on May 28th, 1930, and is 90 years old. He studied at Harvard and Cornell. He is known as one of the founders of SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, creating the Drake equation, and working on the Arecibo Message to the aliens. More on that later. So what is the big deal about this equation anyway? Well, it's essentially used to calculate the number of civilizations like ours in the galaxy. You see, as opposed to humanity, who sends radio messages like the Arecibo message into space all the time, the humans have been suspiciously silent. Geez, maybe I should have done this project on whoever invented the Fermi paradox. Anyway, much like Michael Scott past 5 o'clock, we are so terribly alone in the universe. To remedy this, we need some way of figuring out our odds of finding space friends. That's where Drake comes in. Now, the equation goes as follows. N equals R asterisk times FP times NE times FL times FI times FC times L. N being the number of civilizations in our galaxy who we could theoretically make contact with, equals the average rate of star formation in the galaxy times the fraction of those stars that have planets, times the average number of planets that could potentially support life per star that has planets, times the fraction of planets that could support life that actually do develop life at some point, times the fraction of planets that with life that actually go on to develop intelligent life, i.e. civilizations, times the fraction of civilizations that develop a technology that releases detectable signs of their existence into space, times L, the length of time in which that civilization released detectable signals into space. Unfortunately, I can't just tell you how many aliens there actually are that we could theoretically contact, because most of the actual factors are unknown and requiring so many assumptions that it honestly would require knowing the answer to the equation in order to use the equation to find the answer. But hold up, that's not really the point. It was created as a thought experiment in order to determine what parameters would be needed to be considered when trying to find alien life. But honestly, if we find aliens, what do we say to them? I mean, it's not like we have a human to Eldari dictionary lying around. The answer comes from binary code and the Arecibo Message, authored alongside the great Carl Sagan, among others, by Frank Drake. It looks like this, and a little bit like an old video game. And honestly, it looks like it would take an actual human genius to decode it, let alone an alien. But with further inquiry, it's actually quite genius. I mean, here you got like a barn-looking thing. Then you got like a little guy, and like some squiggly dotted line and some squiggly things over there. But at the very least, it looks like it's deliberately made and not just like random. So any alien is going to be like, ooh, this must be a message from some aliens. It was sent from the Arecibo Radio Telescope in Puerto Rico on November 16th, 1974, and is the most powerful human transmission ever deliberately aimed into space. The message, shown in graphical form with color added for clarification, shows as follows. The top row is white and shows numbers 1 through 10 in binary code. The red row shows the atomic number for the elements that make up DNA: hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and phosphorus. And the next is DNA nucleotides, shown in green. In blue and white is a DNA double helix. And shown in red is a human with the average dimensions. And underneath in white is a graphical representation of the solar system. Each of the planets, and Pluto, which isn't a planet, unfortunately, is shown with each being shown larger to show mass, as well as the Earth is offset slightly in order to show that's like where we sent the message from. Finally, at the bottom is the Arecibo Telescope, shown in purple alongside its dimensions. It was sent to the alien inhabitants of globular star cluster M13, which is 21,000 light years away. The problem is that's an insanely huge distance, and it will take 42,000 years for them to text back. So, darn. Chin up though, well, because that is the best we can do, we don't really expect an answer. It's starting to see a theme here. The point was more to create a message to the stars that might work, even in the face of vast distances, time, and the most vast boundary of culture that has ever been experienced by humans. And it's pretty much the best we can do, and is still a pretty huge technological achievement. In conclusion, he was a founder of the search for extraterrestrial intelligence and invented the Drake equation. Also space text messages. Thank you for watching. For all of us here at News Center 4, I'm Ron Burgundy. You stay classy, San Diego. Forgot to put this till the end, but in terms of the debate between heliocentrism and geocentrism, it's a big-time heliocentrist, which will probably come as no surprise to you considering he is still alive in the modern day. But you never know these days.